job done. And he's only...
Let's talk a little bit. I didn't watch this fight last night live and in real time because Tim Tszyu was getting his ass beat by Sebastian Fundora on the Pacquiao versus Barrios card. So this fight was happening at the same time, so I couldn't pay attention to both. Bam Rodriguez is a special fighter. Now, I say that because there's certain fighters where I can look at it, I can be like, you know what, I don't really see anything special. They're good, but I don't see anything special. Usyk, special fighter. Manny Pacquiao last night at 46 years old could have been a WBC 147-pound welterweight champion. Always a special fighter. Terrence Crawford, special fighter. You see what I'm saying? Teofimo Lopez, I never really viewed him as being a special fighter. I never viewed Deontay Wilder as being a special fighter. His power was, but, you know, it's certain fighters you can look, Tyson Fury, despite his losses to Usyk, you know, a special fighter. It's certain fighters you can look at and you can say, you know what, like that guy's not just good, he can be great, depending on what weight division. Anyway, I'm T-Street Controversy with Fight View 360. He just captured, I'm not going to butcher this guy's name, so I'm going to call him Cafu. That's his last name. Now the WBO title at 115 pounds. He's going after the IBF title in November on the undercard of David Benavidez and Anthony Yard. That's in November. That's going to be the IBF. Then sometime before this time next year, possibly in the spring, he can be undisputed champion at 115 pounds. Superfly. Remember that from HBO? So we're going to listen to the post-fight interview, talk about the politics involved right now. And by the way, I was at his last fight against Pedro Guevara on the undercard of Boots and Karinchuk. You know, but the problem has always been with those smaller divisions is we're in a golden age of these smaller divisions because we actually have access to be able to watch all of these fights in one way or another. It wasn't like this in 2017. No, later than that. It wasn't like this in 2018 and prior, where we actually have access in one way or another to all of these fights in these lower weight classes, meaning 126, 130 and under, than we've ever had. So you can actually follow the divisions. You can actually follow the champions. It wasn't like that before. So seeing what Bam Rodriguez has been able to do now, I guess, you know, because he was talking about possibly moving back down to 112, but looks like, you know, he's at 115 to stay. And he's doing the undisputed route the old-fashioned way, where he's going to collect the belts, where you're not just picking up 2 belts from this guy and another one from him and then you already had yours. I mean, he already had his. So if he can get past Fernando Martinez, who I believe outside of Juan Francisco Estrada is his toughest fight. Let's listen to the particulars. I believe they're doing it now.
The official time of the stoppage, 2 minutes and 7 seconds of round number 10. Declaring your winner by TKO. He's still undefeated. And now the unified WBC, WBO, and Ring Magazine Super Flyweight Champion of the World, Jesse Bam Rodriguez.
Sergio, where would you put him on your pound-for-pound list right now?
Man, it's easily top 5, and I think he's inching his way closer to 4, maybe even 3, man. It's spectacular what we're watching. I mean, we saw heavyweight greatness with Alexander Usyk. I
think Usyk is number 1 pound for pound. I do have Bam in the top 10.
Not sure how many rounds he lost, if he lost any at all. Let's hear from the champ. He's with Chris Mannix.
Well, Bam, congratulations, adding more belts to your collection. You're now a 2-time unified champion. in boxing. You had to work for it tonight. How'd you feel about that performance?
I feel like it was a good performance. Probably my best performance up to date now against my toughest opponent, my toughest fight yet. All credit goes to Cafu. He was a tough opponent, a lot tougher than I thought he was going to be, but we got the job done no matter what.
In what ways was he tougher than you thought he was going to be?
He had better pop than I expected. I knew he had power, but not like that. And also, he could take a shot. Like, he didn't stop. He was in it to win it. He had a good game plan. Him and his team worked 100%, I can tell. So, like I said, all my credit goes to him.
You know, Cafu came in during the week and was telling us that he was going to be aggressive in this fight, that he was going to take the fight to you. Went out and did kind of the exact opposite, used every corner of the ring. Were you surprised by that approach?
No, that's kind of what I expected. I knew he was just saying things just to build the fight maybe or just psych himself out, but I mean, like I said earlier, that was my toughest fight to date, so.
What adjustments did you have to make during this fight once you saw how he was going to approach it?
I just had to stop throwing every shot hard. I was trying maybe a little too hard to get him out of there, but once I felt that he can take my best shot and keep going, that's when I had to really slow my pace down, maybe set him up with a few shots here and there and just, like I did, just get him out of there.
You had a decent run there, landed a few shots in the middle part of this fight. At any point, did you feel that power?
Well, like I said, I wasn't hurt, but I did feel he had pop behind the shots.
8th round, you started to step on the gas. 29 out of 66 punches in that 8th round. Were you sensing something in the 8th and 9th as this fight progressed?
Yeah, I mean, throughout the fight, I knew he wasn't going to be able to take my shots for as long as he did. I expected him to be a little bit, get out of there a little quicker, but, I mean, he was tough, like I said.
I know you don't have it in front of us, but walk me through what you remember about the finish of that fight once you got him out of there.
All I remember is I caught him with a right hook. That was about it.
When the towel came out, were you surprised that they stopped it when they did?
A little bit, yeah. I thought he was going to keep going, but, I mean, his corner knows him better than I do, so.
This is usually around the time where I ask you what you want to do next, but we know what's happening, what next with you. Fernando Martinez, he is waiting on November 22nd. Let me ask you first, you've glanced at that left hand a couple of times. How are you feeling physically coming out of this? Do you think you'll be ready to go in November?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how many weeks I have, but, I mean, it's just a little bit of, what's it called? I don't even know what to call these, but, I mean.
Abrasion, maybe?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. November, I'll tune in.
How important is it to you to not just get those 2 belts, but get a 3rd one around your waist?
I mean, this means everything. That's one step closer to undisputed, especially the way I did it against Cafu. A world champion took his belt, got him out of there before the 12th round, so it just goes to show that I'm here to stay.
First time you were here in Frisco, I think they spelled your name wrong. You were on the prelims of this show now. 7, 8, 9,000 people came here to support you. What does that mean to have this kind of support in Texas?
That's amazing, man. That just goes to show how far I've come in my career. Shout out to all my people that spent their hard-earned money to come out and see me. Without you guys, I wouldn't be who I am today. Y'all made me become a better fighter. Y'all motivate me to keep going. So to every person out here, thank you. And tune into my next fight in November.
Congratulations, Bam.
Thank you.
Eddie?
I knew we was going to hear from Eddie.
One good performance after another for Bam Rodriguez. This was an interesting one with the way Cafu approached it. What were you thinking as this fight went on?
Just watching in awe of Jesse Rodriguez, the pressure, and you can dominate a fight, but it was just the keenness to get him out of there. He wanted to close the show, and that's a sign of a great fighter. Cafu was very dangerous. You could see him trying to catch shots and counter and landed a few on Bam, but he was prepared to get his feet in and try and force the stoppage. He got it, 25 years of age. For me, you saw one of the great fighters of our generation in Alexander Usyk. You saw the new wave, one of the other great fighters of the generation in Jesse Bam Rodriguez, 25 years of age. For me, this guy's going to be around at the #1 of the pound-for-pound list for a long time. Next up, another war against Puma Martinez for another belt. This guy is just a belt collector. I think he's going to be 4 or 5 division champ. Another unbelievable performance.
Would you like to see him become undisputed at 115 before he moves up, or do you look at some of those fights that are out there, a Nakatani and Inoue in 2026?
Listen, as some know, they offered us the Nakatani fight about a month ago. Robert Garcia and Bam said yes in 0.1 seconds. Nakatani didn't, but we move on and we fight Puma Martinez in a great fight. You always want to be undisputed. It'll be up to Bam and Robert to see how long he stays at the weight. He's still growing, he's 25. I'd love to see him pick up all the belts. You're going to see him around for many, many years.
Think Turki Al-Sheikh is going to like what he saw tonight?
How can you not? That's excellence personified. One of the great fighters, one of the great finishers, and Bam is a pound-for-pound generational great with many years to come.
Appreciate it, Eddie.
Cheers.
Guys?
Sergio, my biggest takeaway from those interviews was that Jesse Rodriguez said that was his best performance against his toughest opponent. This is a guy who's fought Juan Francisco Estrada, Sorung Fasai, and Carlos Cuadras.
To be fair, Sorung Fasai wasn't what he was. He was having some issues, and he eats rats. That can't be healthy for you. And Carlos Cuadras, I never really ranked him really highly. But don't get me wrong, good solid test for a fighter. But I always viewed him as being kind of like a gatekeeper-ish around there, those lower divisions. Juan Francisco Estrada, now that was a class win, despite his inactivity. Cafu, he showed that he can break down a boxer. Fernando Martinez, I can say, I think this is going to be Bam's hardest fight. My personal opinion. It would have been for 2 belts, the IBF and the WBA, but he chose to go fight Ioka in Japan. And when he was ordered to fight this guy right here, Willie Baldo Garcia went on to fight, I forgot the guy's name, for the vacant title. Well, anyway, that's what happened there with that situation. So if Bam goes on to beat Martinez in November, sometime in the spring of next year, he can fight for the IBF. Boom, undisputed. And to be fair, as I'm looking at this division, there's nobody really there that's going to generate any real money or intrigue for Bam outside of Martinez. And I'm talking about some global Bam. I mean, global buzz, what am I talking about? And when you look at the lower divisions, the bigger money will be in Japan, obviously. They are owning these lower divisions. So 118 would be the best move. Now, the Junto Nakatani fight, from my understanding, and I can see somebody has a clip up here, is because they don't want to fight Bam Rodriguez in a high-risk fight without cashing in on Inoue yet. Inoue, however you want to pronounce his name. Inoue is the 122-pound champion. He doesn't want to move up to 126 yet until he fights Junto Nakatani. Junto Nakatani will likely be moving up soon. In fact, let me go look. From my understanding, it would be Marjan Akhmadaliev for Inoue in September, right? That's already official. Then it would be let me go look at this real quick. Then it would be Nakatani sometime around the beginning of next year. If this guy, Alan David Picasso, doesn't cause any fluff. He is the WBC. He's not the mandatory yet, I don't think. But he fought last night on the Pacquiao versus Barrios card. And frankly, I am not a fan of him. And listen to my corny joke. Inoue would put Alan Picasso on the canvas real fast. So Bam, the key fights for him would be, let's say, for example, he goes on to be undisputed. Maybe he goes on to defend once, or he decides to move directly up to 118, start testing the waters. That's where I think things get tricky for him. Now, he's listed at 5'4", but he looks a little smaller. And remember, Tank Davis is about 5'4", even though he's listed at 5'5". I've met him, seen him in person, tiny dude. But he's up at 135 and could possibly fight at 140. I don't think Bam can fill out like that. So what I'm saying is, I think that maybe 122 may be his weight cap. He's 25 years old, so he's still relatively young. Or, 122, I doubt we'll ever see him at 126. But what I'm saying is, if he was, let's say, for example, if Junto moves up, whenever him and Inoue fight, which will be no later than this time next year, Bam, no later than this time next year, would be undisputed. Junto, depending on what he wants to do, if he loses, then he may say, I want to go back down to 118, 122 too big for me. I'll take that Bam Rodriguez fight. But would he take it right away? Maybe not. Maybe he may say, I want to get a tune-up. I just got my ass whipped by the monster. I'm moving back down. Let me get a win under my belt. That's usually what fighters do. Or if he beats in a way, then he stays up at 122 and they do a rematch, whatever happens up there. The point I'm trying to make is then Bam will have to start working his way through again. I forgot Nonito Donaire is still in the mix. Can you imagine that? I bet you Bam Rodriguez never thought in his wildest dreams when he was a kid one day that he can possibly be fighting Nonito Donaire. It's not out of the realm. Donaire is the WBA interim champion. It's not out of the realm. If he moved up to 118, I'm not saying it would happen because he already don't want to fight Chocolatito Gonzalez, and I can understand that. But also, he's not the same fighter he used to be. But it's going to really be interesting to see how this plays out. I guess we should only focus on him going after undisputed because this is going to take up at least the next year right here, these next 2 fights. One's already scheduled. So that's thinking a little bit too far down the trough. But anyway, I'm T Street Controversy with Fight View 360. Did I miss anything? Oh, yeah, I wanted to make sure we listen to this. What is this? I believe the rumor was that Nakatani and his whole team, basically, they just didn't want the fight. But
Nakatani, I talked to Nakatani's manager and trainer, and I don't, this is the first time I'm hearing that they rejected the fight. They were okay with the fight. I think I got a text message from Mr. Honda telling me he did not want that fight. So I don't want to say that Nakatani rejected the fight because, actually on Monday we're going to have lunch with him and his team because, we're very good friends. So I don't want to say that Nakatani rejected the fight. I think it was more Mr. Honda not wanting them to fight, just like Chocolatito Gonzalez and Bam. He kind of doesn't want those type of fights with Nakatani. I talked to Nakatani's manager and trainer, and
okay, so does that, and that sounds like to me, I mean, tell me if it sounds logical. It's like, all right, they already got their plan. Whoever Nakatani is going to fight next, possibly maybe another. Wait, who is he fighting next? I'm sorry, I should look that up, right? I did watch his last fight. What's going on with you, Junto? So he'll likely go for a unification, I'm guessing, next, and then go after Inoue. Okay, all right, that makes sense. So does that make sense to you that why fight Bam when you already got that, 2 big Japanese fights, a unification in your division at 118, and all these fights would generate more money than Bam? Remember, Bam would be having them move up in the first place. So I understand what Nakatani's team is doing, and shout out to Robert Garcia for cleaning it up. So fans are not going around saying that Nakatani ducked him and all this old bullshit. When in reality, the team is like, nah, listen, we don't want that fight. We got some other shit going on. Anyway, I'm T Street Controversy with Fight View 360. You can follow me on Twitter at T Street Controversy. Boom, there it is right on the screen. I got some links down below. I'm going to start streaming full time soon, pretty much start talking about everything. As you can see, the last couple of weeks, I've been getting my brain back in order, really pumping out videos to get back into the algorithm because YouTube was like, you inconsistent, so fuck you. We ain't promoting videos, but we back now. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.